Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. If you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is a place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast, healing hearts, one conversation at a time. Whew, this has been a week. Life is just busy and it's coming and it's coming and coming and coming. Hey friends, welcome back to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya. And today I'm excited to chat with you about some amazing insights I've recently discovered. And hopefully for you, when life gets busy and you get in the hustle and bustle, some of these things that I discovered can be helpful to you too. I just finished reading The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. And oh my goodness, there were so many gems in there that I can't wait to share with you. So let's just dive right on in. The first thing that really stood out to me, now there's a ton in the book, but something that I really held on to was the power of hope. One of the biggest takeaways from Brené's research is that hope can be taught. And this is a huge deal because growing up, I thought hope was just something either you had or you didn't. But according to Brené, hope is actually a way of thinking that involves setting goals, having the tenacity to pursue them, and believing in our ability to figure things out. She says in the book, hope is a function of struggle. We develop hope not during the easy or comfortable times, but through adversity and discomfort. So if we just kind of sit with that a little bit and we're thinking about the discomfort and the adversity that comes at us sometimes in life, think about the fact that it is helping to shape that hope or build that hope inside yourself. This is especially interesting as a parent because we can teach our children how to be hopeful. I mean, that's amazing to know. And, when I think about it, hope isn't just a nice idea. It's a critical part of thriving. We can nurture hope in our kids by helping them set small, achievable goals and celebrating those little wins along the way. It's like reminding them that even if it's tough, they have what it takes to get through. Something else that I found fascinating in the book was faith and the resilience in the relationship between each other. A part of Brené's research is she mentioned that there's a strong correlation between faith and resilience. Now, I feel like as a Christian, as a Christ follower, yes, I'm all about leaning into my faith as a way of helping me to just sustain myself as a part of my value system. But it was interesting to see this research perspective brought in. She found that some of the most resilient people in her studies had a belief in something bigger than themselves. Now, it wasn't about any particular religion or denomination. It was about having faith that there's a greater purpose or power beyond us. And she referenced in the book, across the board, the concept of spirituality, recognizing and celebrating that we are all intrinsically connected to each other by a power greater than all of us. It's what fueled resistance. I found that so fascinating, really just to see how her research supported what I felt in my faith. It's comfortable to know that when we believe in a larger story, it can help us to bounce back from life's challenges. Personally, as I mentioned, this resonates with me and reminds me of the scripture that says, count it all joy, in Paul's saying the scripture, no matter what comes our way. And that's just helping us to know that regardless of what's coming, like something is coming, but choose joy in spite of, because that holding on to that faith is really what's going to help you continue to propel forward. Now, one of the things that really I'm hanging on to, and this is going to be the one piece that I'm kind of grinding my axe on, is the importance of play. And I'll say this: I've always been someone who's in productivity mode. I'm sure many of you can relate, constantly thinking, what am I doing to make the most of my time? How am I being productive? But Brené's research shows that play is essential for our well being. It's not just a frivolous thing we do when we're bored, it's part of taking care of our whole selves and staying joyful. I wrote down this quote: the opposite of play is not work, the opposite of play is depression. Now that hits hard, because especially when you have internalized that thought of like, I don't have time for play. Play is not something that's essential. When you think about when you're feeling down and just kind of under a cloud of life because it's happening so fast, the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. Talk about a reality check, right? When we neglect play, we deprive ourselves of the chance to recharge creatively and emotionally. It's a vital component of wholehearted living. Brene really drills this concept home. Play is just as important as work, productivity, and achievement. Life can come at us fast, but choosing joy in the midst of all of this is crucial. And so, she goes into choosing joy. And it stuck with me when Brene talks about this, leaning into joy, no matter how big or small the moment is, because I kind of thought of it as like monkey bars. They really help the joyful moments hold us together when life gets tough. Even tiny sparks of joy can carry us from one challenge to another. It's like moving from rung to rung on the playground. This has been These 2 points have really just been a big perspective shift for me. Instead of feeling guilty for enjoying fun or playful moment, I'm learning to accept joy as a necessary and healing part of life. And I will say this is probably one of the points that goes the most against my natural form of action, the natural thing that I would default to do. So I want to pose this question to you. How are you prioritizing play in your life? We're all on a journey of self improvement, but sometimes we get so focused on goals, me included, and productivity that we forget to just have fun. Personally, I've started taking piano lessons again. I used to play as a kid, and it always brought me so much joy. But you know how life can get in the way, getting busy, going back into it has been a breath of fresh air for me. And I'm excited that it was something that I was able to pick up again. I'm also challenging myself to read more because I just really enjoy reading. It may sound simple, but, it's one of those things that kind of, as life gets busy, you're working, you have a family, you're taking care of kids. It's kind of one of those things that just kind of fell back, but it's something that I really enjoy. Cracking open a novel and getting lost in a story has been one of the best ways to feed my soul. And I'm being intentional this year about digging more into reading. It's a small intentional step that reintroduces a sense of play and wonder into my daily routine. So here's my challenge for you. Carve out some time to play this week. Whatever that looks like for you, maybe it's painting, dancing around your living room, playing a pickup game of basketball, or building a Lego set with your kids. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not about making money or being productive. It's purely about enjoyment. So if you happen to have some benefit of money coming as a result of it, that's great. But you don't want that to be your primary focus. I'm encouraging you to have your primary focus be to enjoy yourself. We have to play so that we can rediscover the joy and freedom found in being spontaneous. This is how Brene emphasizes it in the book. And this quote says it all. Sometimes the most productive thing we can do is nothing. Just allow ourselves to play. So I'm going to share some resources with you as always. If you'd like to dive deeper into these concepts, I want to share with you Brené's book. As I mentioned, it's The Gifts of Imperfection. This is a book that inspired today's episode. It's a quick read or quick listen if you're on Audible, only 4 hours, but it's packed with life-changing insights on authenticity, self-compassion, and wholehearted living. Brene also has a TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability, blew up all over the TED stage. So that's a very popular one. Listening to Shame, both talks introduce the core principles of her research. If you've read her books before, many of her books obviously go back to her research points because that's what she does. But these are great starting points if you're looking to learn more about vulnerability and resilience. Brene has a couple podcasts also, Unlocking Us and Dare to Lead. So another good resource just to kind of dive into if you're unpacking this idea of playing more as a way of taking care of your whole self. Remember, play is not a luxury, it's essential. Hope can be cultivated. Faith in something greater helps us to bounce back. And joy, no matter how small, can be the lifetime that keeps us moving forward. As we wrap up, I want you to feel encouraged to make space for the things that bring you delight, even if they're simple as reading a book or trying a new hobby. Thank you for tuning in to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm so grateful you spent this time with me. And I can't wait to hear what playful activities you get up to this week. Don't forget to tag me on social media with your stories or drop a comment letting me know what you're doing to prioritize joy. Stay hopeful, stay joyful, and remember to make time for play. And until next time, everybody, take care. And that's it. I'm out of here. Much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, a new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's Hive. Until next time, take care. Entertainment.